Welcome to Pet Pals. I'm Dee Dee, and this is Randy, and we're here at Frederick County Animal Control and Pet Adoption Center. And as we do every week, we are bringing you some adoptable animals, dogs and cats today, so that you can either consider adding to your own family or maybe referring a picture or profile or information about one of our homeless animals to someone who you know. Our first guest is Bear. And Bear is a 9-month-old Newfoundland puppy. And as with all puppies, we take 4 applications and find the best match. And what we would be looking for Bear is someone who has space. And on the one hand, a lot of times people think big dogs need big space, and that's not always true. They just need appropriate space. He is, when he gets older, likely to be a sit by the fireside or sit on the front porch type of dog. But until he's fully grown, he needs to be able to play and run around. So just because of his size, he's going to need a little bit of room. So he was given up for all the puppy reasons you might expect. He hasn't done anything bad. He's just big and untrained because he is under a year old. So if you've always wanted a Newfoundland, now might be your chance. Or if you've always had Newfoundlands and you're ready for another one, just let us know. Because Bear is looking for somebody who's going to understand his size. And sometimes people think that dogs with a very thick coat like this are going to be more likely to shed. And that's not true. They shed just as much as any other dog. But he has an undercoat and a top coat. So twice a year when the undercoat comes out, it's going to need to be brushed out. He's eating his leash. So typical puppy stuff. So if you are interested in any puppy, let us know. We get less than 300 a year, so we don't have too many. And we are also always looking for people that are up to the commitment, because the reason that we get 300 puppies a year is once in a while it's unplanned litter, but more likely it's situations like Bear. Someone got a puppy on purpose and they didn't think about what it was going to take to work full-time and raise a young dog. Our next guest is Ivy, and Ivy is an adult terrier mix. Maybe she could be mixed with Chihuahua, it's hard to say, but she has the most unique ears I've seen on a dog in a long time, and obviously I see a lot of dogs. She was left behind when someone moved out of their apartment, so luckily someone became aware right away before anything bad happened to her. So she is here at the shelter waiting for a second chance. And I think she would make a really great watchdog, because she will bark when strangers approach her cage, but when she finds out that you're there to take her out or play with her, then you'll see this. She's a very sweet little dog. She's not too overactive and has a short coat, which lots of people like. So I think that she's going to make somebody a nice companion. We try to let people see a variety of dogs on the show, but one of the things that's always going to be a barrier towards choosing a dog is that humans are pretty visual, so we go by their appearance and also consider the stereotypical behaviors of the breed they look like. And what I mean by that is that if you think she looks like a terrier and a Chihuahua, and you think that terriers are one thing and Chihuahuas are one thing, and you don't think those are good matches for you, then you're not as likely to give her a second look as if you try to think about the personality first. Because she is a little bit of a serious dog and she's polite, I don't think she has the typical terrier or Chihuahua behavior. So it's definitely something to think about when you're choosing a dog for yourself or your family, is to come in and spend some time with them, because it makes all the difference in the world. There were some people here last night that were trying to choose between Mercedes and Louie. Mercedes and Louie have been on the show before. Louie is a big, robust spotted dog, and Mercedes is a tiny little Pomeranian mix. So the one who wanted the Pomeranian mix wanted her because she was little, and that made her seem sweet and made her seem gentle. And the other person wanted Louie because he seemed big and robust and that he would play, when actually their personalities are the opposite. Louie is very sweet and gentle and leans into people, and Mercedes is a tough little dog who will chase toys, grab them, shake them. So it's really important that you come in and spend time with the pet, and try not to let their outward appearance make your decision for you before you meet them, because they'll surprise you. If you think that Ivy may make a good match for you or someone that you know, then come in and meet her. Our next guest is Brittany Sue, and Brittany Sue is a purebred Schnauzer. And she was not getting along with the other dog, no hospitalizations or injuries, nothing like that. And she was having house training accidents. So a lot of times when people give up a dog for behavior reasons like that, it can stand in the way of them getting a new home, but it shouldn't. Because I have 2 dogs at home. And Randy has lived with 2 dogs off and on many times because of family bringing their dogs home. And it is something you have to work on. You know, there's just like having 2 kids. Sometimes they get in a fight and one of them hauls off and punches the other one, and then you have to do what you have to do, ground them, separate them, set boundaries for them, reinforce better behavior. When there's no real injuries, it's just, you know, part of dogs living together. So that's something that can be worked out. But the other thing about her house training failures is that she's 11 years old. So she's a beautiful little dog, and definitely is gonna, you know, need some place to live out her time and make someone very happy. But when an older dog who has been house trained has accidents, then it should absolutely trigger you to talk to your vet and make sure there's not something you need to do for her. Sometimes it's a change of diet. Sometimes they could have a bladder infection. There are many reasons that that could happen. And if she was never house trained during that time, then that's an easy fix because that's really on the owner. There's no adult dog that doesn't have medical problems that can't learn to go to the bathroom outside. So sometimes we get these histories on dogs, and it's amazing to think that after this number of years, someone would give up a dog for 2 things that we consider normal. But it is also the case that we have so much experience with dogs that we have an expectation level that is very different from the average pet owner. We see problems like house training and not getting along with another dog as something we deal with every day. So we don't see that as insurmountable at all. And there are lots of people who have always wanted a little Schnauzer, and she's so pretty, I think, and mellow and sweet. She's gonna make somebody really happy. So if you think this beautiful little girl would make a good match for you, let us know. One thing to consider is if you're not a groomer, which most people are not, just put that in your budget. She's gonna need to have attention to her beautiful hair periodically. Our next guest is Copper, and Copper is typical of scent hounds, more interested in smelling the carpet and everything that has touched the carpet in the carpet's lifetime than he is in eating treats, which he is now happy to do. Copper is either a foxhound or a treeing walker coonhound, and he was given to us by a family who does not want to keep dogs inside. And because he is a family pet, and he has been so for 5 years, they didn't just want to put him out in the yard and make him an outside dog. And this is a common thing that we hear about in Frederick, is people want a dog that will live outside. And I can tell you what the drawbacks of that are. First of all, because I don't agree with that, dogs living exclusively outside. The drawbacks are the weather. The weather is way too extreme in Maryland for dogs to live outside without proper shelter. Certainly you can provide proper shelter. The second reason is because if your dog lives outside, You are going to miss out on some of the training by osmosis, like my dogs go lie down when I ask, simply because they spend a lot of time with me and they know that's what I mean when I need to do work and I need them to go occupy themselves out elsewhere. And you will also miss out on some of the bonding. The reason my dogs bark when someone's in the driveway is because they live inside with me and they know that those people are strangers. If your dog lives outside, then he's not going to have the same understanding of who belongs in the house and who doesn't belong in the house. The other issue is containment. If you have your dog outside, dogs are absolutely meant to be with people. So if they can't find any people, they will go on a mission to do so. So if you keep your dog outside without access to you, then you may lose your dog periodically and he or she will end up here. And then finally, the last drawback is fleas, mosquitoes that cause heartworm, parasites, and filth. Dogs that don't live in the house and are unsupervised like to roll in mud. They like to eat horse manure, all kinds of things that preclude you from interacting with your dog on a regular basis without regular baths. So there are so many reasons not to keep your dog outside exclusively. Now, am I saying that dogs shut up in the house are better off? Absolutely not. Dogs want to be with you wherever you are. But if you have a dog, you need to think about how that dog is going to get outdoor time with you. So the other problem is that if you raise a dog indoors and then try to make them an outdoor dog, that is unkind to the dog, because they will be lonely, they will be exposed to temperatures they're not used to, and they will just want to be back inside with you. So Copper is available for adoption from us because he's in that in-between situation where he was an inside dog and the family had a dispute about whether that could continue. And so we are going to be able to find him a home where hopefully he can have the best of both worlds. We are back with Z, and Z is a boxer mix. If you look at boxers from 100 years ago, she looks exactly like they used to look, but except for the extra weight. Z is about 12 years old, and the story that we know of her is pretty interesting. Apparently, some people brought her to a veterinarian and said that they wanted to put her to sleep because she was old, and the veterinarian said, "Would you let me adopt her?" And they agreed. They said that was fine. So the veterinarian found somebody to take care of her, and they brought her to us because they weren't able to keep her any longer. And I'm not sure if the reason was that they had to move or something like that, but we have all of that written down on her paperwork. So this is kind of, you know, a sad little story. She's, as far as we know, she's about 12. She's very low-key, sweet little dog, nice manners, and who knows how much time she has left, but she could have a long time. I am surprised that, I'm very grateful for the veterinarian for not putting her to sleep just because she's older, but I'm surprised that somebody would think there was some kind of an age limit on their dog, that they had to put their dog to sleep at a certain age. So that's absolutely not necessary. Aging isn't a disease, so she is not necessarily suffering from being old. She just has extra care needs. The most important thing that we can do for her is help her lose a little bit of weight. Dogs don't get the same kinds of heart disease and artery problems that people get from overeating. However, they can have joint discomfort with aging, and that's only going to be made worse by carrying extra weight. So as you can see, she's a great tail wagger and just a gentle soul. So, you know, I hope that we're going to find somebody to, she likes being scratched on the neck, to take care of her in the time that she has left. I think she'll be very grateful for that, and she's a really sweet little dog. We're going to take a short break and come back with some adoptable cats for you to view and meet. And one of the things that we always say you can do for us is you can go to petfinder.com, find the profiles of one of the animals you've seen here today, and share them on your social networking site, because not everybody knows about the shelter, and certainly not everybody knows the variety of animals that we have. Hi, beautiful.
Ever wonder whether something is recyclable or not? Or maybe you forgot to set your cart out at the curb. Now there's an app for that. Download the free My Waste app for tablets and smartphones to have convenient access to a wide range of recycling and disposal information. Be notified of upcoming events, see your recycling schedule and set customized reminders, as well as instantly report curbside problems. Find out more at frederickcountymd.gov/mywaste.
Welcome back. We are still here at Frederick County Animal Control and Pet Adoption Center on Rosemont Avenue. And Randy and I are now going to bring you some adoptable cats. Our first feline guest is Jasper. Jasper is a beautiful medium-haired gray tabby. He's very substantial in size. So for those of you who wait for and like Maine Coon cats, he might be just big and pretty enough for you to come and meet him and see what you think about his personality. He also has the added advantage of coming with a companion cat who you will meet in just a moment, and that's Dolly. Jasper is 4 and Dolly is 5, and they have lived together for a long time. They are living together now in the shelter, really enjoy each other's company. And the owner gave them up because of allergies, a family member with allergies. And that can be such a frustrating thing because it is one thing to say, oh, just take allergy pills and vacuum more. But if you are genuinely sick every day, runny eyes, runny nose, there is only a length of time that you can stand having it be difficult to sleep, and all of the health problems that go with chronic allergies over a prolonged period of time. Also, people's allergy symptoms are different. If it's just a little bit of itchy eyes and you can get rid of the carpet in your house and replace it with hardwood and Claritin works for you, you actually can manage it. But if you have asthma, it's actually life-threatening to add up the allergens in your home until you can be having a breathing problem. So it's a terrible thing for a family to split up because of health problems, but that's really what it means when someone gives up a pet because they're allergic to the pet. Pets also can have allergies, and that is something to talk to your vet about if you think that your cat has problems with allergies. In dogs and cats, it's most commonly manifested by itching, licking their feet, pulling out their hair, that kind of thing. These guys are not allergic to people or each other, luckily, so they are healthy and ready to go to a new home, and you will see Dolly in a few minutes, but Jasper alone is quite the striking looking cat. He was a little shy when he came out, but he's handling it quite well. We are back with Dolly, and Dolly is part tabby and part tortoiseshell. We call it Torby. Beautiful little kitty, and she and Jasper have been together for a few years, so we would like to adopt them together. And sometimes people are glad to have that option because one thing that cats don't always like is other cats. Dogs inherently know if they don't have a family of humans and even other dogs that they're not going to make it because dogs hunt in packs, they live in groups, not a tight group like a wolf, but loosely formed like fraternity. And so they're aware that friends make life better. And contrary to popular belief about dominance theory, which is pretty much completely debunked, dogs follow the person who has the most friends. So they're aware what social connections can do for you. Cats, on the other hand, are very efficient hunters. They can get a rodent or bird or lizard anytime they want, and they know that they do not need friends to survive. So while they do have an affinity for people and they appreciate being sheltered and food brought to them, they don't need other cats to survive, and they know it. So sometimes people project their own feelings on their cat and think, oh, you know, while I'm at work all day, my kitty must be lonely, so I'll get another cat. And cats sometimes do not agree with that decision. So when you know that you would like to have 2 cats, it's a very smart idea to adopt 2 that already enjoy each other's company, because that's just one thing you cannot guarantee. And we've had people tell us that many times when they bring a kitten to our shelter and say, you know, we found this kitten, we thought our cat would be thrilled to have a roommate, and that is not the case. One of the behaviors that cats do when they are not happy about sharing space with another cat is they mark their territory with urine, and that's very unacceptable for people inside of a house, and rightly so. So if that does happen, when you get a new cat, talk to your vet about what you need to do to right that situation, and there are many ways to solve it. It's just important to know that cats don't always want another cat. If you think that Dolly and Jasper would make a good match for you or someone you know, then come and meet them or share their pictures on Facebook or other social networking sites so we can get the word out. We are back with Petunia, who you can barely see at this moment. Petunia is a beautiful tortoiseshell cat that was found as a stray, so she's very wary, but friendly and sweet once you are interacting with her. And this is one of the things that we're happy to be able to do is there was a day when so many cats came to the shelter that we were struggling to find homes for all of the friendly and healthy ones. But now we are able to offer cats that are more shy. We are able to put cats in foster who have minor health problems that they'll recover from with time. We just need to get them out of the shelter if they're contagious to other cats. And Petunia is a perfect example of one who was found as a stray. Clearly, she knows that people can take care of you and it's okay to approach people, but she's wary of people she doesn't know. So she will need a home with someone who's going to be patient with her. And I don't know if you can tell right now, but I hope this is very endearing to someone and makes them want to run in and adopt her for all the right reasons. She's trembling, and that is pretty sweet. That means that she is braving her fear of being afraid of strangers, being in a strange room, my voice, but she's looking around and interested in finding out more. So she has within her a little brave heart that's willing to try and get to know new people and see what happens. She is typical of the stray cats that we get this time of year. She's between 1 and 2 years old. We don't know if she's ever had kittens, but the likelihood is there that she has because she came to us not spayed, and because of her age, she would have most likely had 1 or 2 litters. And these cats end up in our care at this time because if her mother had kittens and she didn't have an owner of her own, she either was cared for by the owners of her mother, or more likely, she was like a neighborhood cat where people see her around, they might put food out for her. She's friendly enough to walk up to people she knows that they just assume she has a home somewhere. And then after a year goes by, people realize by talking and asking around that she doesn't belong to anyone. And then when new kittens are being born, they don't want her to have another litter without a home. Or what can also happen is when the weather changes, people realize that she just can't stay and take care of herself without anyone. So they brought her to the shelter where we are able to meet plenty of people who are looking for cats. And because she's so pretty and she's very gentle, I don't think it's going to take long before somebody chooses her. We would like her to get adopted before the summer. We are back with Scarlett. And Scarlett, as everyone knows by now, is my favorite kind of cat. And she's quite friendly and outgoing. She's got lots of experience with people to share. And one of the reasons that Scarlett ended up with us is because her family moved away. But one of the things that's going to be a challenge for her is Scarlett's about 10 years old. Now, cats live 12 to 20 years, most of them not 20. So she has plenty of time left to give. But it always takes somebody with a bigger heart to fall in love with a cat that is not going to be around for 12 to 20 years, because you know that when you lose them, it's always a sad thing. It changes your family. But I always say that it's also important to think realistically. If you do get a pet that's going to be with you 12 or 20 years, can you really say what you're going to be doing in 20 years and that it's going to involve being able to care for a cat? And the reason I say that is because of how many animals that we get here at the shelter, because something happened in someone's life that made it too complicated to keep their pet. And most of those reasons are quite compelling, and people sometimes have no control over the circumstances that befall them. But that just makes my argument stronger, that if you get a pet that you're going to have for 5 to 10 years, then you are much more likely to be able to be sure you're going to keep them forever and for their lifetime. And that is the goal that we have here at the shelter, is to reduce the amount of times that they have to switch homes. It is true that in the United States, there's an estimated 80 or 90 million cats. And I don't know if you can think about how big that number is, but that is amazing. And less than 5 million cats ever see the inside of a shelter in a year. So that means only a tiny percentage of all of the cats in the country ever get in trouble enough to end up in a shelter. And of those who do, not very many of them are reclaimed strays. So we are looking at finding homes for a significant number of cats, even though it is only a tiny percentage of the cats that are out there. So she does need a second home. We'd like her to just have one and have that be for the rest of her life. And if you know who that person might be, or if it's you, come and meet her, because she is a confident, gentle, outgoing kitty, and she's going to make somebody very happy. She just needs a place to call her own for the next several years. We are back with our last feline guest of this episode of Pet Pals, and this is Mercy. And Mercy came to us because her family is moving. She is about 8 to 10 years old, and she is a beautiful cat. Now, hopefully she'll feel a little more brave and come out in a minute while I'm talking, and I'm sure she will. But she is, I don't even know how to describe this color, but I'll tell you what it is genetically. First of all, she's genetically considered a snowshoe, and what that means is that she has Siamese genetics plus white markings on top of that. So she has a dark face, dark feet, dark tail, and then white on top of those, and that's called snowshoe. But in addition to that, she is tortoiseshell in color, but she's not the typical orange and black tortoiseshell, nor is she the second most popular tortoiseshell, which is gray and cream. She's actually a chocolate and cream, so just a spectacular cat. Now add on top of that that she has blue eyes, and I have to tell you, very, very striking, unique looking cat. So for people who care about the genetic colors of cats, then obviously she's rare color. Does that make her a better pet or nicer? No, she's just a gentle, sweet little cat who lived in her home for almost a decade and now is needing to have a second chance. If there are any pets that you've seen on this episode of Pet Pals, there's going to be a link at the bottom of your screen that you can use to share it. You can go to our Facebook page where Randy diligently chops up this episode into individual profiles and pastes those on Pet Finder, on Pet Tango, on our Facebook page. And now we're using yet another site, anything we can do to get the word out that these are pets in need of a new home. There are supposedly 17 million people looking for pets every year, yet there are less than 8 million pets in shelters. We should be able to make the matches it takes to make sure that everybody gets a second home and everybody gets the pet that matches them. So if you can help us out in that way, then please do. If you can join us next time on Pet Pals, we would love to see you then. Thanks for joining us today.